The goal of these challenges is to get you into momentum, in my mind. So often in marketing, Stacey, everybody is using a challenge, eventually to kind of like acquire clients, get sales. So challenges work really well in the market, but challenges work even better inside of the community to get us all on the same page and us all it's like contagious fire. So I'd encourage you, if you're new or you've been here a while, jump on into the sprint. It's only been a couple minutes each day. And we're going to go through the challenge together, and we're all going to see, just experience a new breakthrough through Stacey's methods, but also fill the room so we reach more and more people. Because the goal, right, is not just sales. You know what I'm saying, everybody? The goal is impacting more people. So the better you and I get too, as filling the room, we get to change more lives. So let's just have fun. Let's go.
Hi everybody, my name is Emily Sturgill, and I am here to talk to you about the Do the Thing challenges and the implementation day that I experienced. I've been in the Do the Thing community for months now, and it's been something that I've been able to move quickly with, got me out of my own way, built my confidence, has put me in my zone of genius where I continually get to see how I can further help people and help them grow. I hadn't yet gotten to run a challenge in my own group. So when Stacey was talking about, okay, we're going to set the dates, are you committed? At first I felt a little bit of resistance. I'm going to be truly honest, because I hadn't really considered running a challenge in my group, and I don't know why I was putting it off, to be honest. I just felt like I don't have the right people, or I don't have enough people, and I had filled rooms for challenges before, but I thought for whatever reasons, why would they come to a challenge in my group at this point? Something shifted for me though when Stacey was asking for our commitment, and she's talking about, getting it going within the next few weeks and getting people pumped and excited. I decided to just kind of take hold of that, and I ended up launching my challenge, you guys. I used the Find Your Voice challenge, and it's been an amazing experience. And Stacey's just so great at activating you and activating the group. It was just honestly, truly such a gift to be able to implement a challenge into my own group. But I just feel so excited, so aligned. And I just wanted to share, if you are thinking, is this the right time? If you've been sitting on a group that's been crickets, honestly, they're just waiting on you to be awoken enough to give them a chance to show up and show out for themselves, because it really does help them get the transformation, and you're just kind of a transformation facilitator helping them in the process. You are a movement maker, and so I want you to really think about taking advantage of this experience, because you're going to grow in ways that you didn't even think. So you grow, they grow, you create more income, you create more impact. Stacey's magic in the Do the Thing community just gives you the spark and the steps to not wait for opportunity, but create it.
Stacey is a master at helping people get over themselves and get into action, to get moving, helping you grow, helping you inch out of your comfort zone so that you can go ahead and do the things that you need to do. And my bookkeepers that were involved in this cohort, they absolutely loved it, and they blossomed, and they got clients all over the place, and they just really found their voice. I can't imagine doing another cohort without Stacey's program.
I'm a memoirist. I'm an author. I wrote the book My Father's List, How Living My Dad's Dreams Set Me Free. And it was a journey I took for about 6 years to complete the 54 undone items on the bucket list that my father left behind when he died, when he was killed by a distracted driver. And I had been an activist up to that point. I worked with safe driving. I work as a copy editor for women's magazines for GQ and Vanity Fair. The way I ended up meeting Stacey Lauren is she heard me do an interview on NPR, and it was, I believe, a month or so after I finished doing my dad's bucket list. She suggested to me that we do a challenge within her program on Facebook called the Bucket List Challenge, and I could help her design what the questions would be. And I was a little hesitant to do that just because I couldn't really foresee how what I had done was applicable to other people, in a real-time way. I understood and appreciated that people were getting a lot out of reading the book, and, oftentimes getting things out of it that I didn't anticipate. I might have jumped out of an airplane, but maybe that gave them motivation to do something that smaller that was scaring them in their lives. And so I knew that was happening, but I didn't really know how do I apply that by also being there, being the presence of what this book is. And I think Stacey saw that I was good at public speaking and that I was good at connecting with people. And I think she saw like a real possibility there for, what would happen if we brought the character of this book and also the author of this book to the people who want to learn how to do their own bucket lists. So I think that's why it works so well, that it was one of her most successful challenges. She called me an expert at transformation and intention and action. Yeah, I guess that's sort of what I ended up becoming. So I loved the bucket list challenge. She loved the bucket list challenge. She loved my input in Find Your Voice. I had the good fortune of being chosen for a celebrity book club for the actress Melissa Gilbert, and she had just started a brand called Modern Prairie. And after we had an interview, Melissa's CEO asked me if I could come back and I could maybe like teach a class or do a program with them. And my brain immediately went to what I had done with Stacey, because that was the only really like applicable thing I had done in relation to my book. And I'm a firm believer in if something works, like why change it? So I asked her if she was interested. She was thrilled about it. And then that's how the Modern Prairie, what we like to call it, is the Pioneer Project, because we're teaching the women to do new things and blaze new trails in their lives. So when we host a challenge, our class is like 300 strong now. So, one of the really cool things that some of our students have taken on is they've become leaders themselves. Been like really, wow, just quite a ride over the past year that we've been doing that.
Hi, I am Jana Nixa, the Authentic Sales Coach. I work with coaches and service-based entrepreneurs, helping them create high-ticket offers and then helping them map out a simple sales process and how to sell on sales calls. In essence, I help you get high-ticket clients consistently. And I actually worked with Stacey and did an iteration of her Find Your Voice challenge. I did it inside one of my group coaching containers. And here is what was so lovely about it. I had just started a new cohort, and it was such a beautiful way to get people into action. An object in action tends to stay in action. An object at rest tends to stay at rest. So it really helped them get to know each other, start doing it at things, like getting comfortable, feeling uncomfortable. Like we all know as entrepreneurs, everything we want is right outside our comfort zone. And so it really challenged the group to connect with each other. It really ignited them into that action and gave them a simple thing to do each day. And I thought it was a wonderful way to do it inside my group coaching container. And next, I definitely want to do it out on the internet streets. So thank you so much, Stacey. And I just can't wait to see. I know some of them are going on to do it even, in their own communities, like just continuing to take that action and go live every day and answer these questions. So next time around, I'm going to really use it more even for like how to speak your ideal client's language and adding even more dares in to really help people get more insight into where their gaps are and where they're really like solid and what they do and who they serve and what their transformation is. Thanks, Stacey.
This challenge really did blow me away. I can't get over. I genuinely, me personally, genuinely didn't think that we were going to get the kind of responses that we got. I mean, I know that we kind of set the tone, right? Because we were recording ourselves first and putting it out there, which I think was really a beautiful idea. And we opened up a lot, we ourselves opened up a lot and really shared a lot of who we are, very much to my surprise, but watching other people do it, to follow suit was fantastic. And I really think my favorite part of the whole thing is when they were hosting their own parties, their own My People parties, and talking about these questions and interviewing each other. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So dedicated to the challenge. I thought it was amazing.
I really did it for the greater collective consciousness, because when I first started the challenge, I thought I was just going to answer some questions and like call it a day. Like, okay, great. You found your story. I hope like you can make a book and a movie. That's fantastic for your career. And it went from that superficialness to like me sharing, and actually like I had a choice. Either I could speak what I was coming up, or we just set the tone. We just went for it. And I think a lot of people were messaging me too, saying they were thanking me, they were relating with me. It didn't make me feel so alone. So it was just so nice to do it inside a community, and it really brought people closer, and the connection was just like on another level because of that. Of sharing those deepest, like you said, Stacey, like I never would have shared these things outside anywhere, but this was a very safe space that everyone shared in. And I'm so happy, I'm so proud of everybody for like joining us and doing that. And I think that's when the magic happened for this transformation to happen. For those of you who actually have participated that way are going to get the best effect for that transformation. So good for you for doing it, because I'm sure that you had the same transformation as we all did as well.
I've run the Atomic Offers twice already, and I'm about to do 3 more, 2 this week and 1 next week. And I just have to say that what you're doing matters, because like the last Atomic Offers party I had with somebody else that did not go through your thing, their audience, like literally we had 1 person show up. And I found out that one person just belonged to my audience. So it was from me. And then this week, because I'm working with your people who have activated audiences and people who are actually like showing up and doing the thing, I don't even know. I need to look here real quick. Like Mayor has 43 people signed up for the Atomic Offers event that we're doing today. And then Ryan, I'm doing tomorrow. Ryan has 76 people. Way different. Like all I'm saying is thank you for what you're doing with like helping people activate their communities, because like this is the power. This is the difference right here.
I love it when you talk about this too, Stacey, because it just seems like you have a gift to set people free. And I think that's what people want. That's what we really want. We want to find our voice. Really, we just want to feel free. Don't you think? We're just like, oh.
Stacey, I'm obsessed with your community. I kind of love the Do the Thing Challenge people. These people are amazing. And they have so many awesome questions, and they're like, we're gonna do this.
If you're looking to start an online community, if you're looking to start a group coaching program, if you're looking to start a membership, you absolutely have to work with Stacey. So I started by working with her in her Wealth Experiment, which is a group coaching program. And while I was in that, I launched my online community and I started my first group coaching program. They were both around taking bold action, which is super meaningful for me. So I'm now a leader of the Bold Action community, and I have the Bold Action Accelerator, which is a 4-month group coaching program. And I launched both of those because I spent time in Stacey's world, and she showed me that I can take messy, imperfect action to get started, and I don't have to wait until I'm ready. I can learn the lessons I need to learn along the way. So I launched my online community, a bunch of people joined, which was awesome, and then it got really quiet in there. And that was my biggest fear. That was what kept me stuck for 2 years, is I was afraid that I would start a community, get a bunch of people to join, and then it would be silent in there. That happened, and I realized that it wasn't that bad, and I could make a small pivot to bring life back into it. And so what I ended up doing is I ran Stacey's 17-day Find Your Voice challenge in my community, and that community came back to life. I took 15 people through this challenge, and they were so activated and alive. And it went so well, that challenge, that I decided that I wanted to create a monthly membership for my community. Instead of having a big group that's silent and mostly full of lurkers, I now have 7 people who are paying me monthly. They're bought in, they're committed, they're alive. And I started a membership through working with Stacey. So again, if you want to have a membership, an online community, a group coaching program, I have 4 people in my group coaching program. And that was through working with Stacey and having a My People party. All of the things you want are attainable if you work with Stacey, if you surround yourself with the right people, and you start taking messy, imperfect action.
One of the reasons I was excited to do the challenge after participating in it and talking to Vicky and seeing the other challenges that had happened, running my own challenge, is that as a business person, it's like you always want to do something for your people and you always want to sell the next thing. And the problem is, there's a million different things you can do. You can run a traditional challenge, you can, do a regular Facebook group, run ads, all this stuff, right? The real hurdle is how to find something where, you're putting in as little time, money, and energy as possible and getting the maximum return in terms of value for the people that are consuming it and creating a window to, offer them your next thing. And so the Do the Thing challenge framework does that. It gets that ratio, in my opinion. It it blows most other things out of the water, because like for the time and effort that I'm putting in compared to the value that the participants are getting from it, it's huge. It's like the return on energetic investment is phenomenal, which is a win right there. But there's zero doubt, because they're getting so much value from this experience, I'm not sure if I'm going to offer anything at the cap call or not. If I do, they're going to be really excited to hear about it because they've just had this wonderful experience. And again, I'm not breaking my back to get people to listen to my offer. They're going to be excited, right? So for me, that's kind of the big selling point. I'm kind of a busy guy. A lot of entrepreneurs are like that. It's like they're always looking for a thing to do for their people to bring value and you know, grow their revenue and move their business to the next level. But we're guarded with our time. We need to know that, like, is the return going to be worth it? And in this case, I would say adamantly yes.
I want to give this quick review and testimonial for Stacey Lauren and her Do the Thing challenge framework that moved a mountain I didn't even know existed when it came to the launch of my second book, Say Yes and Figure It Out. I've known Stacey over a year now and have watched her implement her framework in communities, nonprofits, for-profit, small businesses, big businesses, and it's been mind-blowing to be part of some of the challenges that she's rolled out and see the members of the community gather around a cause and get activated and have all these ideas and momentum be created as a result of the activation for or from the Do the Thing challenge. And when it came to launch Say Yes and Figure It Out, I didn't even hesitate to call Stacey and say, can we implement Do the Thing into launching Say Yes and Figure It Out? And sure enough, within 5 days of the launch, we 10x'd my sales of the book, of the expectation of the book, and we created an active community of members who are both following the framework within Say Yes and Figure It Out and sharing it with those that they work with, those who they love, because it's so easy and it's so fun thanks to Stacey Lauren's challenge framework. And I just can't thank you enough for creating this momentum for the movement that is becoming Say Yes and Figure It Out, Stacey, and I am forever grateful to you and your genius.
This entrepreneurial journey can be a pretty lonely one. So having people who speak your language, who are building something, who are going in the same direction and doing it and, you know, getting the support, the affirmation and learning from each other is just amazing. The ways in which my life has changed and expanded and grown since I joined Stacey's Do the Thing community.
A true community where you get to know each other beyond superficial things, where you get to see a little bit of fear, we get to see a little bit of uncertainty, and then all of a sudden you're not just a group, but you're a community. You're people who are learning about each other, people who learn to care about each other. These seeming strangers who could be all across the country, all across the globe, has changed my life.
My name's Bree Rosenblum. I'm a professor, an author, and a nonprofit director. And I wanted to take a minute to give a shout out to Stacey and her team at Do the Thing and talk a little bit about what her framework and her collaboration has meant to me personally, and also what I think it has to offer to our world. So during this little testimonial, I'm just going to wear two different hats. First, I'm going to start with my author hat, and then I'm going to move into my big picture thinker hat. So with my author hat, as a professor and an author, I write for a living. I've published a lot of different things in a lot of different ways over the years. And my most recent book, which is more of a heartfelt offering that comes from me, not an academic offering that comes from my science, I decided that I wanted to publish independently. I was tired of working with big publishing houses, and I was tired of not owning the rights to my own work. And so I wrote a new book series, and I wrote it on my own and published it independently. It's called And, the Tiny Word That Can Radically Transform Your Life, and it has a companion journal. And the idea of this book series is really to help people with a universal method to move folks out of the feeling of constraint and compromise and conflict in their lives into a feeling of creativity and potential and possibility. And so I present a framework for doing that, and lots of stories and exercises and prompts. Now, the interesting thing about being an independent author is that the hardest part, even if you already have an audience, is to get the book out into the world and to help it come alive. And so one of the things that Stacey and I did together this summer was to offer an and challenge. And so what we did is we took the book and we turned it into an interactive, explosive 5-day experience. And we invited people into that community. And as a community, we went through the process that I propose in my book. And we helped people work through every single step. We helped them connect it to their lives. And we also offered experiences and case studies from our own lives. And doing that experience with Stacey was phenomenal. It had this book come alive in a totally different way, because now it wasn't just a book on a shelf. It was a living, breathing experience that people were engaged with, not just individually, but collectively. And the momentum and the insights that came from that community experience was absolutely phenomenal. And so not only do I appreciate that as an author, the experience that I had working with Do the Thing on a book challenge, but it's also something that now I'm passionate about collaborating with Stacey about to offer to other authors, to use Do the Thing as a platform for bringing books to life in people's lives. So that's a kind of case study of one way to use Do the Thing challenges is as authors for book challenges. But I want to make it really clear that that is one of an enormous constellation of ways that I see Do the Thing really contributing to a revolution in how we engage as community in this important period in our lives as individuals and as humans on this planet. So with my big picture thinking hat on, I am a professor of global change biology. I study what's happening on our planet, and I study what I think we as humans should do about it. One of the big things I think we as humans should do about it is come together in community in new ways. This is something that is fundamentally missing from a lot of our educational institutions and a lot of our social institutions around the country and around the world, is that we don't have great ways to not just come together, but come together and move forward. And one of the things that Do the Thing does so well is it takes people who might not otherwise meet and brings them together around a shared purpose. And this element of the Do the Thing philosophy, I know Stacey calls it a framework, but I also consider it a philosophy, right? The philosophy that we need to come together and then we need to take shared action is an amazing philosophy for this moment on our planet. And so one of the other things Stacey and I are currently collaborating on is bringing Do the Thing into some of my classrooms at UC Berkeley to look at what happens, not just when you bring students together around content in a class, but bring them together around a shared community experience. And how might that activate their feeling not just as learners, but also as humans on this planet? I think many people are feeling kind of shaky about what our future looks like. And when we come together in community and then we plan actions that we can take, this is something that can have a radical impact in an enormous number of sectors in our society. And so I see the Do the Thing philosophy as something that is going to be incredibly important for community groups, for schools, for people in their own lives to feel a sense of support and structure around their inspiration in this world, and to really think about the connection between the personal and the collective in clearer ways. So I'm super excited to continue collaborating with Stacey. I'm really excited about the big work that Do the Thing is growing into. One of the last things that I'll say is that for me, Do the Thing connects 3 important things that matter to me right now on our planet, and that is people, a platform for engaging, and a purpose for getting together. And when we put those 3 things together, I think amazing things can happen. And I personally think that Stacey is one of the folks that is doing the hard work of bringing those things together and helping light some bright lights for us. So thanks for listening, and be well.
When we talk about attaining our goals, we often think about having the right mindset, knowing our why, and accountability. But the thing that we don't hear people saying is the secret, which is being with people that have a shared goal. And that is what my challenge is for you today. Every time you have a new goal, find a different group of people who share that same goal. If you think about it, it's not as hard as it may seem. We're all gathered here together. You are now my people.